What's up, good fans? This is your host, Jordan, the good man, the man with the goodest things. Today, we're going to talk about Lost. I finished it about a week ago. I think it's damn well time for me to talk about it. I know it's a little bit old, but let's get right into it. My things on Lost is it's probably my third favorite TV show of all time. Only things topping it right now are The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, just because Game of Thrones is beautiful. But we'll see if it sticks the landing. I hope it does. But Lost for me, I binged it. I binged it in like about a 2-month period. Now it's crazy, 120 hours in 2 months, but I'm like a crack addict when it comes to that kind of stuff. Pretty sure a lot of people are. Alright, so what the person who turned me on to Lost said was everyone didn't like the ending, saying that they were all dead and the island didn't matter, but I completely saw a different ending. What I saw was that the purgatory that they were in at the end didn't exist on an actual plane of time. How Christopher Shepard, Jack Shepard's dad said, he said that some people have died before you, some people have died long after you. So it's just them waiting in the afterlife, waiting to link up. I thought that was a perfect. It was the only ending you could have done. And one thing I really liked about that final episode, when Hurley's outside the church and he goes, "You are a great number 2, Ben," and Ben says, "You are a great number 1." Just from that, I could tell they had to have been on that island for at least 1,000 or 2,000 years. It's crazy. I would have loved to see something like that, and I heard there's a special called The New Man in Charge where Ben goes to shut down Dharma while Hurley's, on the island. So I do want to check that out. But for the moment, we're just going to talk about the show. Some of the earlier theories I had on it when we didn't know that the plane that they found of 815 was fake, but a fake 815, not a fake crash plane. But what I thought was going to happen was there was a dimensional rift, and the island is like the center of all dimensions. So when the rift happened, the 815 under the water sunk, crashed in the water, and that was actually everybody in there. With the actual Flight 815, our 815 that we know, actually crash landed on the island, which is in a different dimension. I thought, just swap dimensions and that was it. But, that's probably my biggest theory. My favorite characters, it's going to be Jack, Desmond, then Hurley, and then Locke. I know I did 4, but I had to have Locke on my list. I mean, not Men in Black Lost, but Locke. But Locke. Locke was awesome. Loved Locke. But, I loved how Jack went in a full circle from being a man of science to a man of faith. And it hit me like, I smiled when he was fighting the Man in Black in his Locke form, anti-Locke. But and he's like, "I can't believe you still wear his face. You are ashamed." Well, I can't remember the line, but he's like, "Oh, you are a horrible person for you." No. What he said was, "You're ruining the memory of John Locke by wearing his face." I think that's along the lines of it, but that hit me. The whole ending, I teared up a little bit. I'm a man, so I had to lean back, put the tear back in my eye, save it for later, if there is a later. But I loved it. Loved the show. I was kind of sad at first because I thought Petus died when the submarine blew up. And I was surprised to see him because I'm like, I can't believe they just won off Petus like that. Petus is awesome, but they didn't. And the show was just great. I don't have anything else to say about it. I'm only 3.5 minutes in, but that show was great. I wish I had someone to talk about it with, but currently being in the Middle East, I don't got the biggest line of people to do this with. But moving on. my favorite line from the whole Lost series would be, "You have to go back to the island." Love it, especially since I'm able to use it now, and people are kind of getting pissed off at me for using it so much. When I was deployed in Kuwait and like I had to fly back, I kept telling people I have to go back to the island, and my friends kind of got sick and tired of me doing that after a while. But I mean, it was in good fun. I had a lot of fun saying it. I gotta say, trying to think of my favorite episode. Honestly, it's probably Greatest Hits, where Charlie dies. It's probably one of my favorite. It's definitely on my top 3. But yeah, Greatest Hits was a very well done episode for it. I generally didn't like Charlie in the show. He was a bit of a upright douche. But besides that episode made me like Charlie a little bit more. And yeah, that's all I got on Lost. I don't really know what else to dwell into, but I'll do a couple. Fuck it, I'll do a couple of my theories. I already told you one of the theories of Dimensional Rift. Another thing is when the friend who actually turned me on to Lost, he asked me where do I think Desmond went when he left the Swan Station. Honestly, I thought Desmond went to another station, but I was wrong on that. I was wrong on that one. And my original theory for the island, the original one, was Purgatory. I thought maybe that, and then some people actually died on the island, and I changed it up, and I thought it was like no, it was the Guardian of Eden. That's what I thought it was. First, I thought it was Purgatory. Then when someone died, I'm like, you can't die in Purgatory. That's weird. So I thought it was the Garden of Eden, and I was sure of it. It had to be that. With all the healing powers, they always got food, yada, 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 stuff like that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it wasn't that. But it was great. I enjoyed Jacob for the 2 or 3 episodes he was in. And, yeah. That's it. Another couple. I've seen a couple movies since I last talked to you guys. Not anything new. I've just been watching some old stuff. One of them is a Sandler movie. I personally thought it was underrated. It's Click, and it's a really cute movie. I enjoyed it. Listen to the movies. Family comes first. Don't always choose work over family, which is what the character did. I mean, it had some jokes that you kind of have to shrug off, and then it has jokes that you like. Honestly, everyone says that movie's crap, but I personally enjoyed it. I enjoyed everybody's performance in it. I thought, it was funny. There was one of the scenes in there that I actually watched a review on it recently, and they were saying that all the jokes fell flat. I didn't think that was true. I mean, there was one scene where he was changing his skin tone, and he was doing stupid little shticks for his Purple Barney, Hulk. I thought that that joke fell a little bit flat, but there was one where he literally woke up. He skipped, I think it was 10 years, and he woke up 400 pounds, and he freaked out that he was fat. I thought that was hilarious, and I thought Christopher Walken's performances in it was great. I mean, I can never turn down some Walken. No matter what he does, he always makes the movie better with him being in it. He had some pretty good lines in it, some laughs, like when he was talking about Kate Beckinsale. Oh, your wife has a rockin' hot body. Oh my God, what I do with that body? Oh, that's not what he said, but you get the drift. If I had to rate Click, I'd probably rate it probably 5.5, 6 out of 10, somewhere in that area. It's not great, it's above average. It's good. I've actually watched. As a kid, I actually had that on DVD. I watched it a good amount of times, more than I care to say I've watched. But I've watched it a lot of times. And another movie that I just recently watched. This was for the first time, was Blues Brothers. I know I'm really late for Blues Brothers, but I'm late for everything. Lost is an example, but only thing I knew about Blues Brothers, because I'm a youngin', was that one tribute they did in Drake and Josh, and I always liked the song, and I like SNL, and I was looking like their top 10 greatest skits, and Blues Brothers came up, and I'm like, oh, and I decided to watch, and I figured out, my dad told me there was a movie, so I checked it out, loved it. I'm surprised they got so many great musicians to be in it. Well, not like a ton of them. They got Cab Calloway, which Minnie the Moocher, love that song. I usually listen to that when I'm working out. It's one of my songs I listen to. I don't know, it just gets me in like an upbeat mood. I'll push out a couple extra reps. And Shake a Tail Feather with Ray Charles. I love that. I'm a fan of Ray Charles. I always listen to his music when I read. Nice little bit of background music. Always perfect. And yeah, I listened to it, and I had to download the album. I love the movie. I actually got a good amount of laughs from it. And I've already said this about like 8 times, but songs were great. The theme, they did the theme from Rawhide really well. The opening scene, the opening song, what's the name of that? Well, moving on, there was also like, I've been Universal. I see the Blues Boys car driving around all the time. And, now I can, not respect it, but now I can appreciate it more. Knowing Blues Brothers, I thought they would perform Soul Man in the movie. I was kind of a little bit let down by that, but I'm not complaining. But the song I was thinking about was was She Caught the Katy, which is, I can't play it too much, but this is kind of what it starts with. Can't play much, copyright stuff. I don't want to get in trouble, but I definitely enjoyed it. It's great. I'd rate it at 8 out of 10. And the last movie, I saw it a couple weeks ago, and this one, you guys are probably going to get pissed at me because I haven't watched it, but the first Rocky movie. I've always heard about it, raved about it. I knew it was like Sylvester Stallone's big movie besides Rambo. But I watched it. I thought there were a couple little odd things about it, like the first sex scene. Well, it's not a full-on sex scene, but the first scene with him and his girlfriend was probably one of the most rapiest things I've ever seen. I'm in the Navy, and rape is kind of a big problem for some odd reason. But yeah, that was bad. But besides that, I actually enjoyed that movie a lot. I didn't agree with the ending. I personally thought Rocky won that fight, and from what I hear, in Rocky 2, that's what everyone thinks. Rocky won that fight, so they fight again. But I love them actually fighting in the ring. I thought that was a beautifully shot scene. I love at the end, both their eyes are swelled up. They look beat to hell, and the bell rings. They're still at each other, and then they're just screaming at each other, "We're not getting a rematch. No more rematch," because they don't want to fight each other again, because that was just an amazing fight. Can't wait to see the rest of the Rocky series. And, wow. Again, I get it, he won at life, but at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of a tease. Going into the Rocky series, first thing I thought was, from what I've gotten from pop culture, he's the best boxer in the world. I thought he was going to win the fight, hands down. But I can't wait to see him. I love me some Carl Weathers. I might do you know what? Just for Carl Weathers and action movies. I know this is an action movie. It's a boxing movie / sport movie. You know what? Next week, or maybe this week, we'll see how things go. I'm going to pitch the next Predator movie. I'm not going to use the cast that they have. I'm probably going to line up my own cast. You know, I'll have a couple unknowns and then big shots. But that's all I got for you today. Those are my things on Lost, so Click, the Blues Brothers, and the first Rocky movie. All right? I apologize about that. Audio cut out there for a second. I don't know what was going on. But this has been your host with the goodest thanks, signing off.